Hey everyone, welcome back to Flickin' Reel. I got Mr. Brandon Buckingham over. Did I get it right? I got it right. Over here.
You did. You did get it right.
on that direction, on my left, but his right. The screen's right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jesse did the non-spoiler review yesterday, and we are doing the spoiler review, and this should be going up Friday morning. So hopefully you have seen the movie Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And it was an absolute.
If you aren't,
madness.
why are you watching this video? We appreciate you watching.
It is entitled spoiler review. It says it in the title. But if not, pause, like the video, share it with your friends, come back after you've seen the movie, and leave it in the comments exactly what you thought of it, what you thought of our review, and what you thought of the movie. Because this movie was bonkers. It's just crazy. I don't know how many crazy words or analogs, or I need to pull out a thesaurus and figure out exactly how many different words, a thesaurus, to see exactly how many different words I can say of just like how nuts this movie was from start to finish too, like right from jump, boom,
literally right from the jump. We're like, oh, here's one version of Doctor Strange.
Right, exactly.
And I love how each different one looks completely different.
Yes.
None of them look the same, so it's very easy to figure out. Okay, this is definitely a different one.
They did a really good job at differentiating themselves from each other, and not just in they kind of all acted the same at first until we get to the one that had been going deep into the dark hold, and he was acting a little kooky crazy. And so we get 1, 2.
I think it's 4.
Dead one, 3, 4.
I believe it's 4. We have the one at the beginning. We have our main one.
Yes.
We have the one where they talked about that we see for about 30 seconds, and then we have. He's probably not in this version, but I see him as the Doctor Strange from What If.
From What If, yeah.
I don't think it's that version, but I think it's something similar. Like he went down a very dark path, and he was just trying to get done what he needed to get done.
Yeah.
But I believe that I believe there were 4. But
was that
people can.
Was that one referred to as Warlock Strange or something like that? Did I hear that? Because Warlock is typically an evil connotation to it, right? Was that the term I had heard in the past from the What If universe?
I guess next time I go watch the movie, I'm gonna see what they have it credited as. Like, is it just Stephen Strange / Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, or is it gonna be like this version?
A specific title from like which universe or which one it was. So let's hop into let me see initial reactions. The movie's over. The movie's done. Credits, boom, start to roll. How did you feel? Were you like satisfied? Were you happy? Were you a little wanting? What do you think you felt in that moment with the credits?
There were, before I saw the movie, I saw some thoughts where people were saying, if you're a fan of WandaVision, you may not like this movie.
Okay.
And I kind of was there initially.
Yeah.
Not a fan of how they made the Scarlet Witch or Wanda kind of she's not the villain. She's the antagonist. I just feel like everything that she kind of did there at the end of WandaVision, they're just like, yeah, nope, didn't matter. She didn't really learn her lesson there. She's still going after and hurting people.
Right.
There. She did a fantastic job.
Even more
Elizabeth Olsen killed it in this role.
Yes.
Her and Benedict Cumberbatch were just phenomenal. I was like, Benedict Cumberbatch, you could play like 10 versions of Doctor Strange, and each one can be so different. He is definitely one of the most talented actors the MCU has. Yeah. And this really showed just a small sliver of how talented that man really is.
It was fantastic. The nuance between the different versions of themselves, and even the Wanda in her dream that we see at first when she's playing with her kids and full on American accent. They're doing something in the kitchen, they're making whatever, and then boom, she wakes up from her dream. And when she starts talking to Strange in that moment in the apple orchard, right before we find out what's actually in there, where they're actually
Before we
standing,
find out where we
yeah,
actually are.
you can hear the tint, the hint of her accent is back just a little bit until the moment where she turns again. She reveals what's around her, and then boom, the accent is gone again, and she's back to like a full on American accent. Like, and so it was great. There's the nuance between the different types of characters we were playing, and then once again when we jump into the other multiverse where she dream walks and takes over someone else's her other version of
Very
herself's body.
interesting concept, by the way.
Yeah.
The fact that you can basically take over. Not like I like how we find out it's not any live body.
Yes.
Anybody. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I love how we get like this zombie
Mhm.
Doctor Strange. I was like, oh wait, no, that's 5, right? No, wait, no, that's still 4 because
that was the
technically
one.
the same.
Yeah,
It's
that was
still
the
the same
first one we saw.
Yeah, I completely forgot
Yeah.
about it. It just looks so different. So
Right.
if you want to nitpick, it is a little bit different. So you could say he played 5 different characterizations of
Sure.
himself.
Yeah.
Because that zombie version is definitely a little bit
Different.
a little bit out there. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely a little bit
full Raimi, basically. I mean, there's no other way to say it other than he went full Raimi in that moment. Because
definitely.
the visuals to the acting to every part of that.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed that there. But when they kind of revealed that it was the Scarlet Witch, again, I have to. This is the Scarlet Witch. This is not Wanda. Wanda is gone. Our Wanda, gone.
Okay. You think she's actually trapped under the rubble like we saw later
No.
on in the movie with a certain character?
No. I think she's still there. I just think she is being overpowered by the Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
And the way this movie kind of wraps up her character in this movie, I think there's still a chance we see that Wanda again, but I think she has a lot of demons to fight there.
I agree. The way the end of the movie was when the castle, the shrine, whatever you want to call it, came crashing down on itself, and then you see an explosion of red energy. And now, are we to take that to mean like she has been squashed out? Are we take that to mean the Scarlet Witch herself is dead? Maybe not Wanda's body, or maybe she disappeared. Maybe she transported or something, right? Magic.
She's
stuff.
One of the most powerful characters they have in the MCU.
Yeah,
they would not kill her.
I don't think so. Yeah, I wonder if they might eventually do. I was speaking with a friend of the show, Mr. Jake Berlin. We drove together to the theater and thinking like maybe they'll eventually finally do a Scarlet Witch movie. And essentially, this movie could be a redemption arc for her because I know you said she wasn't the villain, but she did a lot of bad shit in this movie.
She had villain tendencies.
She killed a lot of people. She did a lot of bad
literally
stuff.
All at Comertage.
Whether that was Wanda or the Scarlet Witch, I think that she still has to live with that, similar to the way Clint Barton has to live with what he did as Ronin. She's still going to remember all that stuff that happened, right? So maybe they'll eventually do a movie where they'll do a redemption arc and she'll bring back and she can be part of the Avengers again or whatever the case is. She can come back into the fold and actually give her hero story, because that's where they were angling at the end of WandaVision. They obviously didn't do that in this film because she went a completely different direction.
Okay. I want to talk about literally my favorite part.
Okay.
I literally lost my shit when John Krasinski showed up as Mr. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Damn you, Kevin Feige. You literally gave us all these amazing cameos on a silver platter. Then you went like this. You're like, nope. You only get it for about 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, it's fine. I trust that man can do whatever he wants inside the MCU.
Yeah.
He has earned that to do what he wants because, in my opinion, he has not failed on anything in recent memory. There was some stuff at the beginning of the MCU. I'm like, but now, like, they literally can't miss. Like, everything that they keep putting out lately is just fantastic content.
Regardless of what you think of each of the shows, the Disney Plus shows, like there's still the stories are always there, right? I think every director and showrunner, etc., is going to have their own flavor and style, but the stories are always there, which is what comics are. They're all stories, and they all have different writers and artists and whoever that works on them. So this is nothing new to a comic fan. But I definitely agree, and the entire theater erupted. Everyone was clapping, cheering,
So I
gasping.
saw this movie with my older brother. We both
Mhm,
love the 90s X-Men
mhm.
animated TV show. When Xavier rolls up in the yellow
Yep.
chair and they play snippets from that theme song, I really went like this. I'm like, oh my god, look, look, look. I was like geeking out hardcore. I'm like, they
Mhm.
played the theme. God, you guys know how to tug at those heartstrings. Um,
Play an
Black Bolt.
X-Men.
I
Yes,
was I was
I
surprised.
yeah.
Black Bolt had never crossed my mind
I never
because
thought of him part of it.
Inhumans, the
Mhm.
TV show, was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. I was very surprised that they chose him as one of
Mhm.
the crew for the Illuminati.
Illuminati, and they brought back Anson Mount too to play him.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that.
That was awesome that he got to basically a do-over of the very
I think
short-lived limited
I
run
think
show.
he'll come back. I think they'll bring him back in some form.
Yeah, it looked like he had a brain
Because
aneurysm.
I'm
So I
like,
don't know if
why
I
would
don't
you
know if he
give us
will.
these characters for
Yeah.
like a one-off? Like, I feel like they're down the line. We could eventually get more of these.
Mhm.
The way Scarlet Witch took him out, though,
Yeah.
that was brutal.
So
He's the
all
first
of
one to go.
all of them, yes, he was the first one to go, and then Strange, same thing. He just devolved into spaghetti, and then pop. You see a pop at the end too, and that was like brutal.
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic. Yeah,
Hmm.
that one, I'm like, that hurt. Like, I got so excited seeing Mr. Fantastic inside the MCU.
Hmm.
Get him for like 5-10 minutes. But I do like how in this kind of sequence of scenes, they kind of set up what the future or the next big thing in the MCU is: incursions, which kind
Yes,
of
yeah.
sets up secret wars. And I'm like,
Is
that
that
is
what
how
you're
you,
thinking? Okay.
yes. Um, that is how you top Infinity War and Endgame, is do secret wars.
Okay.
So
I know. So I'm not a big comic reader. So I know I've heard Secret Wars. I've heard the terms and stuff like that. But I don't know much about what is actually going to kind of go on with that type of thing. Is Secret Wars is the show that we're doing with Samuel L. Jackson, right? With Fury?
is that secret war? Like,
I thought that was Secret Wars. Am I wrong on that?
I
Wasn't it?
think
I can't remember now at this moment. Because Emilia Clarke is supposed to be in it. Supposedly, possibly, we'll see Photon show up in there. Because we at the end of WandaVision, she gets a message. Oh, Fury wants to talk to you. Like she flies off into space, something like that. If I'm remembering the end of WandaVision correctly. But I thought that was Secret Wars, or is that
Secret Invasion? Secret Invasion.
That's what it was. Secret Invasion.
Because
There's
that's
so
what
many
the
secrets.
scroll. Yeah, there's too many
Yes.
secret things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They're gonna do with the
No,
scrolls.
that doesn't have a release date yet.
Right. Yeah.
So, but that is farther down on the list of
Sure.
of the TV shows we're supposed to get.
That makes sense.
So I'd say that's maybe late 2023, maybe
Sure.
2024.
We got some time, way a lot of time before that. So let's hop into it though from the beginning. So as far as the story is, basically we have the story of Wanda, or we meet America, and we can speak about her for a little bit. But basically, they're running. They have to get this book to fight off this super demon that's hunting them down, right? And then Strange is like, I know a person. She can help us. Well, it turns out she's the one behind it all. She's the one who's actually hunting them down. And Strange just
And
essentially
she's like,
delivered
"You
America
told
to
her
him.
where we were."
Yes. And
And
it
he's like,
wasn't his fault.
"Yeah."
How would he have known? So basically, it's essentially Wanda after America to steal her powers to get her kids back, essentially from a different universe. So not to create her children, but to essentially steal her children from a different universe. And that's the movie. That's them trying to avoid Wanda for the whole movie, and hijinks ensue. What did you think about America? We'll say like as a character, her power set, her this, that, the other, and the actress and her portrayal of like the character. And we can pull up the actress name. I don't have it off the top of my
head. Good luck trying to pronounce her fast.
Okay. Is it a tough?
Let's just say Gomez. Let's just say Gomez.
Okay.
Because it's spelled Xochitl. So I don't even I think it'd just be too much disrespect to try to pronounce that name. So we're gonna say Miss Gomez.
I would pronounce it similar enough to like Jolo Manadueña from Cobra Kai. So maybe it's a Xochitl. But that's about as good as it's gonna get. So apologies, Miss Gomez. We'll call her Miss Gomez.
I thought she'd be more involved. Like I thought she'd be a bigger role in it just because of her power set. But it's kind of what they did with Wanda when we first got her introduced in Age of Ultron. Like they kind of set her up, show up what her powers are, but she didn't really develop here until these last few years. And we then see in the end of the movie that she's staying on this Earth, which funny enough, I love how they titled it 616.
Yes, they
which
did.
Is what a lot of people thought it was gonna be. Which is, for those of you who don't know, in the comics, the main set of comic runs is set in the 616 universe.
That's our Earth Prime, basically. Yeah, essentially.
I believe the Earth that they go to with the Illuminati is 838.
838 is what I remember. Yeah.
And I was watching a video about them going over Easter eggs. 838 isn't an Easter egg. I think they just chose a random number.
Just a random number. Okay.
So it has nothing to do with the Illuminati there. So, but still, great movie. I think they're definitely setting up America to have a bigger role, and because she's literally the gateway to other universes inside the multiverse. So if they,
especially if they do a Secret Wars type of thing, they're going to need a way to jump between a Secret Wars planet, right? Where a battle planet, essentially, right?
I loved how basically in the climax of the movie, she kind of finally embraces who she is. She figures it out, and she's just like. Like she gets so angry.
So I took my son, and he's 8.5, and he said that was his favorite part of the movie is when she finally punches the bad guy. That's what he says. And I was like, you mean the Scarlet Witch, who was on screen the whole time? Okay. Remember these names, kid. Come on, you need to remember these things. No, but he said when she finally knew she had the power and she punched the bad guy, that was my favorite part. I was like, all right, cool, buddy, pound it. And so that was when she finally believed in herself. She realized that she could do it. She could control essentially what her body is doing. I dug it. I thought that was really good.
And I love how at the end of the movie she starts to train to be someone using the mystic art. She's like, this is way more difficult than punching holes through the multiverse.
I thought we were gonna see Ned show up. That was one thing. I was like, oh, it could have been like a nice cameo for him to just like pop in, like, hey, I'm over here learning this thing too.
Yeah, that would have been funny. Like she's doing it, and then right next to him, he's doing it too.
Yeah, why not?
That would have been a great little Easter egg.
Yeah,
because we saw in No Way Home that Strange was a little bit. He was intrigued by how he was able to open up a portal.
Right.
So it's more of like maybe he does have.
He's got the magic in him.
To go ahead and do this there.
Yeah.
I think she's going to be very heavily involved if they want to really go down this rabbit hole of the multiverse, which they really could.
Absolutely.
Like there's so much they can do now with the multiverse. And even if they kill off a character like we saw in these characters with their cameos, bring them back to the multiverse. Like
absolutely.
Some people say that is lazy storytelling, that you can kill off a character and then bring them back. I'm like, that's your opinion, but I think it's more of you can do it creatively that makes it make sense.
If you do it in a way, exactly.
Kevin Feige, just that man knows. That man knows Marvel comics.
Let's trust in Feige. I think he knows what he's done. If you had to say you had a favorite Strange character, favorite of the Strangers we saw, maybe in look or in just the way he was acting, because we only saw the one from Earth 838 for a moment, before he
30 seconds max, like it was 30 seconds max,
just destroyed him, which was interesting. I kind of like the one at the beginning with the hair, but then he turned on her so quickly.
I was gonna go with that, but then he turned on her quickly. Wong suggested the same thing. take her power, so at least you have it, so Scarlet Witch can't.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I like how our prime Doctor Strange was like, no, this is all in your hands. You'll figure this out.
Yep. Believe in yourself, basically. Yeah.
He trusted her because he knew she was the only one that could do this.
Absolutely. I thought Wong had a lot to do in this movie. I feel like he more so like he was in Spider-Man, but he just disappeared, right? He was in Shang-Chi, but he just disappeared. I feel like even in the first Strange movie, he was in the background so much until like the final battle, because he was just playing the librarian basically. But he had a lot to do in this movie. He was essentially with them in multiple different, other than when they were actually traversing the multiverse, but he was in them and in the battle. I mean,
they didn't traverse that much. Well, they went to 3 other ones.
Yeah. Well, and that's actually
838, right?
Yeah. And that's actually kind of one of my negatives, is I wanted to see a little more of the different multiverses, because this movie was shorter than most, right? It was like 2 hours, like relatively between the 2:05 mark or something like that.
Yeah.
I really would have liked to see a scene or two give us 3 to 5 minutes of them in another universe, and then Wanda's coming after us with a monster. Because we see them
fall through a lot of them. But that's it. Like, I'm like, it would have been nice, like you said, maybe a couple minutes and like 3 to 5 different ones.
Yeah, and just like show us a few minutes. Oh no, Wanda's sending a demon after us. All right, let's jump to the next one. Oh no, we got to run away again. Like something like that. So we just get a little bit of flavor from each one, just to give us a taste of the different types of universes that are out there. I thought that would have been cool if we saw a little bit, and it could have. It still would have been a fine runtime for the movie. So that was kind of just one minor gripe that I had, is I wanted just a little bit more of that. So what do you think? Do you think someone could? So I was talking about this. You don't need to have seen No Way Home to understand this movie, but you definitely need to have seen WandaVision. If you didn't watch WandaVision,
like, if you didn't see
lost.
WandaVision, you're going to be very confused as to what Wanda is doing. Like, they're going to bring up Westview. You're like, what's Westview?
Yeah.
Her kids, like, what happened in that time frame? Yeah, WandaVision is very much required viewing.
Absolutely.
Spider-Man No Way Home, not at all. Like, there's nothing referenced in this movie about Spider-Man No Way Home. It's probably because it was supposed to come out before No Way Home.
Was it really?
Yes. But due to COVID, they had to shuffle things around.
So that was the thing. Did you notice Wong's different hairstyles throughout the movie? Was it very noticeable? Yeah, okay, because I noticed it. No one else mentioned it. That in our group we were chatting after the movie, but I did notice that. Like I said, from the very first scene to the second one, they're on the rooftop, like looking at the dead Strange body. All of a sudden, he has a comb over and his hair's long, and then the very next scene, it's short again. It's like a buzz cut. I'm like, dude, come on, like that. I feel like that's an easy fix.
Yeah. But there was one thing I was going into this. I'm like, if it's not in there, this is not a Sam Raimi movie.
Oh,
Bruce
Campbell.
Pizza
Papa. He was the Pizza Papa.
As soon as he showed up, I'm like, all right, this is a successful Sam Raimi movie. Like,
absolutely,
it can't be a Sam Raimi movie without him. I love how Doctor Strange puts a spell on him and he punches himself in 3 weeks, and then as soon as he's done.
Yeah, and that was the final scene, the final post-credit scene. It's over.
He's like, it's over. And I'm like, that's funny, because the movie's actually over and his spell is finally over.
It was a good tag. It was a fun tag. Was there anything... I wanted to see more of Mordo, in the sense of I wanted to see our Mordo Prime and what has he been up to, because he's straight up said at the end of the first movie, there's too many sorcerers in this world. And that's his mission, is to essentially take out all the sorcerers. And they do touch on it right as they're walking, as they see the other Mordo and they're standing next to the statue. He basically goes, oh, this guy hates me and he's made my life a living hell. When? We haven't seen that happen in the MCU. When has he made your life a living hell? Because he took off and you haven't interacted with him since, as far as we know. We haven't seen that happen. So I'd like to see what's going on with him. Is this some cutscene somewhere? Is this some lost footage? Is it just happened in the background? We don't know about it. And then what happened to Mordo in Earth 818? he just leaves him in that little pit after Strange escapes and dips out of the universe. So what happened to him? You know, he never came out. I thought he was going to show up at the Sanctum when he went there to. Oh no, that was the different universe. So they jumped universes at that point. Never mind. That didn't make sense.
No. They didn't jump. They were pushed.
They were pushed. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm sorry. They went through the doorway to go get the book, and then they were pushed out of that space between spaces.
First of all, why the hell did you not close that damn door as soon as y'all went down there? Because I don't think Wanda would have been able. Sorry, Scarlet Witch. Because this is not Wanda.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the Dreamwalker version of her wouldn't have been able to open the door because you know what? Plot convenience. That's why. That's why they didn't close the door behind them. Also, why did they stop and watch the door in the hallway? They had to see her pop out.
Seriously, they all just standing there waiting for her to break through.
Yeah, this movie was not perfect. There were quite a few things where it's like, all right, why are we doing this? What are we doing here now? But I'm not, I'm not a huge, not to say I'm not a Sam Raimi fan. I'm just not as adept to his filmography and stuff. Like I haven't watched a ton of I've never seen any of the Evil Dead movies. None of the Army of Darkness stuff. And like other than Spider-Man and like a few like random one-off movies he might have directed. Did he do like Drag Me to Hell or something like that? Yeah. So I've seen that. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not, but I know his, like, you can tell it's a Sam Raimi movie. When it happens, you're like, oh yeah, this is very reminiscent. So that's, I think, what we were going for, which is essentially what we've read on Twitter. If you've been paying attention to Twitter at all, it's a very divisive movie. Like some people hate it, some people love it. There's some people, a lot of people are just kind of in the middle. Overall, I'm kind of in the middle, but towards the higher positive. I didn't love this movie, but I did like it a lot. It had a lot of stuff to love, but it's definitely like I need to rewatch this movie a few times to pick up everything that kind of they were throwing at us.
I think for me, when I heard Multiverse of Madness, I think I was expecting a lot more multiverse stuff. I felt like it was a little light in terms of multiverse. Like they definitely touched on it and they set it up. So I feel like we're gonna get a lot more of it going forward in certain films, but I don't think in others we will.
And that's where I think
the wait and see
might have been good for what my suggestion was. Like spend a few minutes in this multiverse. All right, jump on to the next one. That type of thing. I think it could have helped exactly what you're saying. So we wanted a little more of the multiverse in the movie about the multiverse. It could have been good.
Yeah, but my biggest question is because again, I'm very limited on Doctor Strange comics. The thing with the eye with our prime Doctor Strange, I'm like, is that just because he used the Darkhold for a little bit? And
right.
Because Scarlet Witch did it. She didn't grow a third eye. She just got really corrupt and her hands were starting to turn black.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm same. And do you know who showed up at the end? I think her name was Kyra.
All I know is that it was Charlize Theron.
It was Charlize freaking Theron.
I don't know who the character was.
Right. Clea. So my of course everyone has explainer videos stuff all over. Who is really explained? Basically how it was explained to me by the few comic nerds that were with us in our group is it's a love interest of Doctor Strange. It's not like the female version of him in a different multiverse. No, it's basically she is just as powerful as him. And other than Christine, a love interest of his in the comics, and they fight side by side, toe to toe together, going after all the stuff they fight. And obviously, she cuts open a rift to Dormammu's universe.
Dark dimension, yeah.
The dark dimension, yeah, exactly. So there's something, whatever it is, that they have to go essentially seal up and fix an incursion that's going to happen. And I think that we're going to get some characters melding together and some universes exploding sometime in the future.
Yeah, that definitely was a tease there for the next Doctor Strange movie. Definitely. Or
do you think it'll be Strange or a different movie? Do you think we're going to get another? Because first one came out in 2016. It's been 6 years. Like, do you think we have to wait another 6 years for another Strange movie? Maybe 2 years.
We might, just because of just all the movie, all the characters the MCU now has.
Yeah.
either they're gonna have to have like 6 movies a year,
Mm-hmm.
which is just crazy to think about because I think we're at 3 this year, I believe.
We have Thor coming up. We have
Yeah.
Black Panther 2.
I think that's it for
October.
23.
No, it's not. It's this year. Pretty sure it's October.
What I'm saying is Doctor Strange,
yeah.
Thor: Love and Thunder, and
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I believe are the 3.
You forgot about Morbius.
I said MCU. I said MCU.
Can we all forget about Morbius?
I didn't see it, so
you haven't seen it? It's MCU adjacent.
Is it? From what I heard, it's barely MCU adjacent.
It's purely because of the Vulture crossing over. That's all I meant.
And I hear it doesn't make a lick of sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. It didn't make any sense before the bad
Kevin
editing.
Feige didn't work on it.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense besides the bad editing. It still didn't make any sense if it was well edited. Anyway, back to Strange. I don't know. There's not much more to say. We're obviously not doing a beat by beat breakdown. Let me ask you, if you had one moment that you didn't like, maybe full on I hated this thing, or just a hey, I wish they would have done something different, and then give me your favorite moment of the movie.
Yeah. So then, she then asked, where like if they had kids there for Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman,
right?
And I'm like, well, he's obviously been Doctor Strange. Mr. Fantastic for a while there on that Earth.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really great. Like when she asked, "Do they have a mother?" I'm like, if he says she's dead, that's gonna hurt.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It's like, oh no, what if she's not? Because he's obviously an older Mr. Fantastic, right? They got kids. They've been around for a while. He had gray in his hair. I was waiting for that bomb to drop too.
Yeah. But luckily he said they do have a mother. I was like, okay, good.
Yeah.
I was like,
good.
That
they'll still have a parent to come home to or whatever.
Yeah. She's like, at least she can raise them right. I'm like, damn.
That was brutal.
That was rough.
That was rough. As far as my favorite part, I think I think it had to be some stuff with like the emotional weight of Strange kind of coming to terms with not being the one in charge all the time, like relying on other people to do it. You know, he can't, like they say it multiple times throughout the movie, like you always have to be the one holding the scalpel. And I think that was him at the end, essentially telling America, like, "Hey, you have to do this. Like, we can't save you any longer. You have to fight back," type of thing. And that was him learning to essentially rely on someone else, give someone else a chance to be that hero, type of thing. And I really like that a lot. It's character growth, right? You know, and you see that he has a really huge arc in the very first movie too, because he goes from being such an asshole, you know, super selfish. It's all about him, to, you know, what the Ancient One basically says is, you know, it's not about you at the end of the movie. And he continues to have arcs. In the Avengers movies, you know, he doesn't have quite, he plays the same guy throughout the movie. He's less
more like this.
Yeah.
Not
sure.
Like it is in his solo movies.
As far as me, I don't have one moment that I didn't like specifically, other than I kept having these feelings where stuff was happening on screen and I started writing in my head what the characters should do next, instead of being accepting of what the movie was giving me, right? If that makes sense. So I wasn't quite as focused as I think that they would have liked me to be on accepting what the filmmaker's doing. I kept diverging the story, and then I didn't get it because they never went the way I thought it was going to happen, which is actually a good thing. You know, you don't want everything to happen, because then what's the point of seeing the movie? You already have it in your head. But
if only a lot of fans about other fandoms would do that, and I think that's what a lot of them do. Like they have stuck in their head, oh, this is what should happen in the movie, and when it doesn't, they get very frustrated.
Yeah, and I wasn't upset about it necessarily, but I think that goes to show there's something about the movie that didn't hold my attention, maybe is the right word, which is why it's not a love, it's just a strong like for me. I did enjoy it, and I do want to see it again. I need to see this multiple times just to wrap my head around everything that was going on.
Yeah. I saw this in a normal 2-day theater because
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, I need to see this movie on Thursday night. I'll
Yeah.
probably Saturday or Sunday go see it in
Yeah.
IMAX to
Yeah.
truly experience. Another great moment that I loved is when the Prime Doctor Strange is fighting that darker
Mm-hmm.
warlock version. The effects with their magic and the
Oh,
music,
yes.
I thought was
It
hilarious.
was funny. I was like, this is so Sam Raimi. Danny Elfman doing all the work with the battling
Yeah.
music back and forth.
Yeah.
And
By the way, soundtrack and score in this movie were phenomenal by Danny Elfman.
yeah, he did a great job. And it's funny because I had in our group that we went to the movies with, there was very, very differing opinions on that scene. One person said
Really?
that was his favorite part of the movie. That blew him away. It was his favorite thing he's seen in the last year of movies. Another person said that took me completely out of the movie. I loved everything else about the movie, but that one thing took me out, and I was off for the rest of the movie. And it's funny because we all saw it together in this group. So I thought that was really interesting. There was such a divergence between how that affected different people. I like the callback to the first movie because I just rewatched it earlier today, and when he grabs that urn that's glowing in the first one, and Cassilia says he freezes and he's like, "Oh, you don't know how to use that, do you?" And he's like, "No," and
You know who does?
he
You know
throws it
who
at him.
does know how to use it?
Christine in 838, Christine knows how to use it because she sort of grabs the candle. She's shooting it like a grenade launcher, basically. So I thought that was really cool. It was basically a callback to the first one. I thought that was a fun moment. That was really fun.
You don't know how that work does, do you?
Yeah. Sorry. So let's hop in. Let's wrap it up here. What do you think about the future? Right, the next projects we have coming up. Right, we have so Kenobi is starting soon. We have Miss Marvel immediately afterwards.
Why did you bring up Kenobi?
I'm jumping into Disney Plus, right? So
Oh, okay, okay.
Kenobi starting and then immediately Disney because they're basically going Star Wars, Marvel, Star Wars, Marvel, Star Wars. They're back and forth, back and forth. So we have Kenobi for only 5 weeks because we're getting 2 episodes the very first week. So 5 weeks of that, and then Miss Marvel starts immediately afterwards. Right around that time should be to June. So then we have Thor dropping in July, I believe, right? Early July, and then we have another. We're either gonna get like Andor, and then I think is Armor Wars coming soon or something like that, or jumping back over. I think no, She-Hulk. I think She-Hulk is the next series after that. So then we're gonna see She-Hulk, and then by then I think Wakanda Forever is going to be coming around the horizon in the fall. So we are still getting Marvel properties. Do you think that any of those properties are going to be affected by this movie or No Way Home or any of the multiversal stuff that's been happening?
Thor: Love and Thunder, definitely.
Okay.
I think there's a reason why the first trailer didn't drop until like a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And then now that Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness has been released, I think we'll get a lot more of marketing material. Because, in my opinion, Jane Foster as Thor has to be something to do with the multiverse.
Okay. That could be. That could be for sure.
That's just my viewpoint on it.
Could be. There was a lot of. I was shocked at how much tie-in in this film or shared cohesiveness with the universe that we didn't get. I don't think we didn't get like a ton of crossover. We got some great Easter egg moments with the whole Illuminati and stuff in that reveal, but like tie-ins with the rest of the universe that we know, the rest of the other 27 films in the MCU, we didn't, and those characters, we didn't get a lot of tie-in with those guys. So I thought that was interesting that they kind of shied away from that. This was very much a standalone kind of on its own type of movie in that aspect.
But I think there's gonna be a lot of things that we get after this that will come as of a result of this movie.
Yeah.
But no, like you said, Miss Marvel is June. She-Hulk is sometime this year.
Okay.
Then Guardians of the Galaxy, that holiday special is supposed to come out December.
Is Werewolf by Night also happening around Halloween?
I do not know.
Okay. That was one speculation from the Moon Knight series finale that happened on Wednesday. is I thought we'd see a little bit of tie-in because they were Moon Knight was very isolated. They never once, barely ever like referenced the MCU in any like other than like a sign on a bus or something like that. That I thought that they would maybe tie into the movie somehow. Like you would see them in like a multiverse scene of some kind, but they definitely didn't do any of that. You know what I'm interested in? I really want to see someone go back. I know someone will do it. Someone's pirated this movie already. I want to see them go through the multiverse jumps.
Oh my god!
And like
I can't wait to watch that at home, so I can just like stop and freeze frame. Like every different world that they go through.
There was the animated, there was the paint world, which was really fun.
And I love how she's like, yeah, that one. It's really hard to eat.
Really hard to eat. She goes, he straight up asked her, you know, how many universes have you been to? 72. She's been to 72 different universes, and she can't get home to. Oh, that was one thing. Her backstory. Her parents. She threw her parents out into the multiverse. Doesn't know where they are. So I wonder if that might be a thing where she ties into another show. You know, she is a younger person, right? The actress herself is only 16. So when they filmed this, you know, a couple years ago, she was 14 at, 15, whatever. So I wonder if maybe she'll tie in somehow with a Miss Marvel or another younger character, and maybe we'll see a little more from her. That could be fun.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about that. Yeah. That must suck. The first time you use these powers. She got stung by a bee.
Yeah.
So, like she said, she can only use it when she's scared.
Right.
Which is interesting that she was able to figure out what triggers it.
Mm-hmm.
But
she couldn't control. By the time you've been to 72 different universes, you probably realize, oh crap, it's every time someone attacks me or I get scared or whatever the case is.
So it's just interesting how it took her that long, and then kind of Doctor Strange pushing her to say, you can do this.
All right. That's true. All right, cool. Well, for everyone watching and viewing, hopefully you saw the movie first before you hopped in here with us. We've been going for what?
You're not jumping in the comments saying you spoiled the movie.
Yes, exactly. So thank you for joining us, Buck and I. Jesse also did his non-spoiler review. If you made it this far. Or, you know what, if you want to help out the channel, hop over to that video, give it a like, give it a comment, give this video a like and a comment, share it with your friends, share it with your people. And Buck, where can they find you on the interwebs if you'd like to throw it out there for everyone to see?
Twitter and Instagram at BrandonBuck88. I have a YouTube channel myself, Schmo Me the Money, so youtube.com/SchmoMeTheMoney. Me and my boy Jeff Altman over there. We did do Schmodown. We don't really do that anymore. We both kind of got a little bit burnt out by it, so we don't really talk Schmodown on there anymore. Right now, the only content we have on the channel is my baseball podcast, Bases Loaded. Mondays, 7 p.m., 10 Eastern. Come and join me and my two boys over there every Monday as we talk the latest in Major League Baseball. We'll be doing that every week till the season ends, and probably, well, not every week. We're not doing it in the next few weeks because I will be out of town.
Oh, out of town.
Typically do it every Monday there, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern.
Very cool. I appreciate you guys' show because I a lot of the talking head stuff on Sports Center and MLB Network is a little too much for me. It's always just running on a cycle, so I'm glad you guys keep it fresh. I tune in when I can. But you can also follow me at Sean Wingblade. You'll see our socials down below, and please, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends. You know where to find us, everywhere we are. All right, appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Later.